I got drunk and started bragging in front of my coworkers, claiming my ex-wife, who cheated with an intern, is now on her knees begging me to take her back. And by the next morning, the gossip was all over the break room, with the whole department whispering about it. And even my ex, waiting by the elevator, eyes red from crying. But just as I tried to dodge the awkward scene, I saw the new bombshell in the office, smiling at me, while my ex's sobs and everyone's hushed chatter blurred into one low buzz. The next time I ran into my ex, she and the guy who came between us had both become my coworkers. She'd schemed to divorce me for him. Not even half a year later, she already regretted it and was crying, begging me to remarry her. I never imagined I'd see Jessica Miller and Jason Smith at my company. People said they'd just joined the team next door. She's gorgeous, wonder if she's taken. She's so young. Probably not. A few women in my department were huddled gossiping. She is taken and divorced. I shut my laptop to clock out and tossed that over my shoulder as I passed. How do you know? They stared at me, in my head, because I'm the poor sap she cheated on. Out loud, just a guess. Then I badged out and left like I owned the place. Back then, Jessica and I were the couple everyone envied. We met at a mixer between our two universities. I liked her the second I saw her, but she was campus, royalty, rich family, crazy capable. Guys lined up for miles to chase her. I was insecure, a social phobe, admired her from afar. Until the day she slipped into the lake and no one dared jump in. Watching her about to sink, I don't know where my courage came from. I couldn't even swim, but I gritted my teeth, took the plunge, and hauled her out. Jessica was grateful, and that's how we got to know each other. As she kept getting closer, the little seed of hope in me finally sprouted. On her birthday, there were fireworks by campus. I asked her out and confessed under the blazing sky. She just stared at me. Blank. The fireworks were too loud, I didn't catch that. Say it again. The courage I'd scraped together scattered. I chickened out. Nothing doesn't matter. If you didn't hear, forget it. She suddenly giggled. Dummy. Of course I heard. I just wanted you to say you like me one more time. I like you too. Then, under the fireworks, she kissed me. The whole hero saves beauty, wins the girl tale became campus legend. Jessica was amazing in every way. Even though we were at different schools, she came over whenever she could. I loved her back. After I befriended the cafeteria cooks, I often borrowed the kitchen to make her bento lunches. Time flew and we graduated. I landed my dream offer at a big tech firm, 4 years of work paying off. It was a golden opportunity. With that as a springboard, I could hit a 7-figure salary in 3 years. But Jessica wanted me to move back to her hometown with her. Big firms aren't all that. My town has lots of jobs and cheaper housing. My parents want to know you better before handing me over. What's more important, work or me? She pouted and teased. With those bright, hopeful eyes, I couldn't say no. When people heard I turned down big tech, they joked I'd chosen beauty over a kingdom. Plenty of friends told me to scope things out first. But Jessica was in a rush day 2 after graduation. She'd already bought us tickets. She swore my major would be hot where she lived. I let her drag me along and move to her parents' city without doing any homework. Once there, I realized it wasn't what she'd promised. My field wasn't valued. The pay was lousy. I couldn't take the gap and wanted out. Jessica said if I bought a ticket, we were done. Eyes brimming, she cried. You're so talented, afraid you can't find something good here? We're here now. Let's make the best of it. I'm doing this for us. Long distance never lasts. I just don't want to be apart. How is that wrong? I loved her to the bone. I couldn't stand her crying. I dropped my suitcase and held her for ages. I finally found a higher paying job, 996 hours. Surprise weekend shifts, but for Jessica, I swallowed it all. A year and a half later, I'd saved a down payment. I'm mellow, can handle every chore, thoughtful, and I adored Jessica. Her parents loved me and pushed for marriage. With stock money from school and help from my parents, I gave Jessica a lavish wedding. At first, everything was perfect, sweet, and happy. Then after my promotion, work piled up, and I got home later and later. Jessica got off earlier and wasn't as busy. She started resenting my late nights. One night, I dragged myself home after dealing with my boss and found Jessica on the couch, unhappy. You haven't cooked for me in forever, and you come back later every day. People are asking if I live alone now." She glared. I just wanted to pass out, but I forced a smile and soothed her. "Sorry, baby. My bad. I'll come home early tomorrow." "I'll cook you a feast, okay?" I said, trying to be gentle. I managed to calm her down, but I didn't know that was the start of a nightmare. On a rare day, I got off on time. I drove to her office to surprise her, only to see her walk out with a very young guy, laughing and chatting. The two of them acting like a couple. Rage shot straight up my spine, but I didn't blow up. I strode over. "Honey, what are you doing here?" Jessica spotted me, beamed, and ran into my arms. "Got off early, taking you to that restaurant you've been craving." I hugged her, eyes on the kid beside us whose face had gone sour. "Honey, aren't you going to introduce us? This is Jason, the new intern in our department." The manager asked me to mentor him. Jessica's tone was perfectly calm, not a hint of guilt. I figured I was just overthinking and forced myself to relax. Jessica might not be interested in Jason, but Jason clearly didn't feel the same. From then on, he was like a piece of gum stuck to us, popping up in Jessica's conversations all the time. A vibrating phone during movie night, a good morning text on weekends, and even local specialties from Jason's hometown showing up at our place. He was everywhere, like a shadow haunting our daily life. I couldn't stand it anymore and started hinting to Jessica that Jason's behavior had crossed a line. She looked at me like I was crazy. "Honey, you're being too sensitive. We're just colleagues. He's new. It's normal for him to lean on me for help." But Jason's behavior kept getting worse, sending takeout and flowers to our home when I wasn't around. How could I tolerate that blatant provocation? I told Jessica again and again to draw a line, to keep her distance outside of work, but she was getting impatient. "You come home late every night and I don't say a word, so stop being paranoid." That night we had a huge fight and ended on bad terms. From that day on, we gave each other the silent treatment. Our first wedding anniversary was coming up, and in the end, I caved. I wanted to make peace. I took the day off, decorated the house, and cooked all her favorite dishes myself. But no matter how long I waited, she didn't come home. She wouldn't answer her phone either. Worried, I got in the car and drove toward her office. At a red light, I stopped and glanced around idly, then froze at the sight that turned my blood to ice. Jessica was holding onto Jason's arm, walking into a hotel. My head buzzed. Without thinking, I threw open the car door and ran after them. I yanked them apart and was about to punch Jason when Jessica grabbed my arm hard, eyes wide with shock and anger. "Let him go, you lunatic! He's sick! I was just helping him back to his room!" Behind her, where she couldn't see, Jason smirked at me, mouthing the words, "You're done." I ended up getting chewed out by the traffic cops for illegal parking. By the time I paid the fine, Jessica was gone. She texted me that she was going to stay with her parents for a few days to cool off. I went home alone, dumped the cold food, and tore down the decorations. Then came the divorce papers. She wouldn't even face me herself. Had a friend hand them over. The moment I saw them, my world collapsed. "Why?" I stared blankly at her friend, completely lost. Her friend sighed, pity flickering in her voice. "She says you care more about work than her. You barely spend time together. And, well, you've got emotional issues." Emotional issues? I worked myself to death to give her a better life. What husband could stay calm after catching his wife and her admirer entering a hotel on their anniversary? I couldn't accept it. I drove to her parents' house, begging to see her. But downstairs, I ran into someone I didn't expect, Jason. He was holding 2 big bags of snacks. When he saw me, his face twisted into a mocking grin. "Well, if it isn't the ex-husband, here to see Jessica too?" It took everything in me not to smash his smug face in. I glared at him coldly. "Watch your mouth. We're not divorced yet. Jessica is still my wife, in the eyes of the law." Jason snorted. "That's just a matter of time. She's already over you. If you were smart, you'd sign the papers and let her chase her own happiness. Clinging like a loser doesn't make you a man." My rage was boiling over, but I knew if I hit him now, Jessica and I would be truly finished. So I spat out, "The real pathetic leech here is you," ignored him, and stormed upstairs. Jessica didn't want to see me at first. It took her parents' persuasion to get her to open the door. "Say what you came to say." I don't want to see you. She wouldn't even look at me, eyes glued to her phone. Her indifference made my chest ache. Babe, I don't get how we ended up like this. We were fine before. Fine? Jessica cut me off coldly. Do you even know what my life has been like since we got married? You're never around, buried in work. At company parties, everyone's picked up by their husbands or boyfriends except me. I walk home alone every time. Do you know how that feels? But all that overtime was for her. For us. If we'd left this city, I could have taken a high-paying job with normal hours. I didn't think I'd done anything wrong, but I still apologized over and over, desperate to win her back. Her parents scolded me first, saying I didn't trust their daughter, then urged Jessica to cut ties with Jason and make things work with me. After half an hour of apologies and coaxing, Jessica finally softened and agreed to come home. I switched to a lower-paying job with regular hours. Every day I picked Jessica up from work and cooked dinner for her myself. She was happy to have me around again, her attitude turning sweet like before. Soon everyone at her company knew me and called me the perfect husband. Because of gossip, Jason didn't dare flirt with her openly anymore. Life quieted down, and for a while I thought our marriage was finally back on track. Then one day, I accidentally saw Jessica's chat with her best friend. So jealous of your husband, he's so successful. Mine's hopeless, just clings to me all day. I wish he'd be more ambitious. With his salary, I can barely afford a handbag. Next week's girls' night, I'm bringing a little brother. That sweet-talking Jason I mentioned before. Cover for me in front of my husband, okay? I'm staying out overnight. Reading that message, I felt my heart turn to ash. Jessica wasn't just still seeing Jason, she was planning to cheat behind my back. When I worked like crazy, she complained I was never home. When I stayed with her, she said I lacked ambition and clung to her too much. But after all, I'd given up for her even my dream job. How did she repay me? All those years of effort to protect our love, everything I'd poured in, now felt like a bad joke. I was nothing but a clown who thought he'd found a perfect romance. Just then, Jessica walked in looking for her phone and caught me standing there, holding it. She instantly knew I'd seen the messages, but instead of panicking, she got defensive. Her face full of fury. Luke Dawson, you were snooping through my chats? You don't trust me at all. I can't even have privacy anymore. What's the point of this marriage? Let's just get divorced. Her outburst shattered the last illusion I had about her. All those beautiful memories, the kiss under the fireworks, the vows we swore evaporated in an instant. She still thought if she yelled and acted upset, I'd rush to comfort her, to explain myself. But my love for her had been drained, dry. I closed my eyes, exhausted, wanting it all to end. Fine, let's get divorced. My voice was quiet, but firm and final. Jessica froze, as if she couldn't believe what she'd heard. What did you say? She stammered, eyes wide. She clearly never imagined I'd actually agree. I said let's get divorced. I looked at her calmly, my eyes empty. You'd really throw away our marriage over something so small? Fine. Don't you dare regret it later. You think I care? I've got plenty of men chasing me. Even if you crawl back someday, I'll never take you again. Jessica's eyes brimmed with tears as she pointed at me, shouting like I was the one who'd cheated. The divorce papers were the same ones she'd sent through her friend. Her name was already signed. All it needed was mine. Under her stunned gaze, I wrote it down. She watched me sign, furious, then spun around and stormed off. The next day, we finalized the divorce. The process was absurdly smooth. As soon as we walked out of the office, I saw Jason waiting outside. He strode up, all eager smiles, took Jessica's purse, wrapped an arm around her waist. Congrats, Jessica. Finally free from that misery. He said it with a grin aimed right at me, eyes full of disdain, like I was some pitiful stray dog. He wanted to get a rise out of me, but my face didn't move. I looked at them like two strangers I couldn't care less about. Jessica was clearly displeased by my indifference. She suddenly pulled Jason close and kissed him, full-on French style, right in front of me. She wanted to see me explode. I didn't even glance their way. Just got in my car and drove off. After the divorce, the only loose end left was the apartment we'd bought together, our one shared asset. Everything else I left behind. I didn't want to take or sell a thing. It all went to Jessica. The apartment was hard to sell, so I handed it over to an agent to deal with. The money would be split evenly when it sold. I hated that city, the one I'd lived and worked in for 2.5 years. I'd only stayed there because of Jessica. Now I dragged my suitcase away without the slightest nostalgia. I'd arrived full of hope, teasing and laughing with her on the way. Now, on the return trip, I sat alone in a crowded train car, staring out the window, feeling like I'd just woken from a long dream. I went back to the city where I'd studied for 4 years, ready to start over. My old college roommates, who'd stayed, took me out for a welcome dinner. They were all thriving now, well established in their careers. If I'd stayed back then, I'd probably be just as successful. Watching them, I felt a pang of regret. Over drinks, I told them about my divorce with Jessica. They got fired up on my behalf, indignant for me. My best friend slammed the table. Bro, you're just gonna let those two bastards get away with it? They deserve a lesson. I raised an eyebrow, smiling faintly. You think I'd let them off that easy? You know me. I always pay back what's owed. By now, they're probably in hell. I'd met plenty of Jessica's coworkers while picking her up from work, so before leaving town, I made sure to spread word through her office about her and Jason's pure, touching colleague romance. As for Jason, I dug into his background and found a laundry list of crap. He'd bullied dorm mates in college, cheated on exams, even faked being poor to scam financial aid. His entire resume was a lie. I sent everything straight to HR at Jessica's company. He'd definitely get fired, and good luck finding another job in that city. I didn't rush into work. Instead, I took long walks and cleared my head. The city hadn't changed much. Sometimes I'd pass the places Jessica and I used to visit. But I didn't feel sad, just a quiet sense of release. After 2 weeks of rest, I picked myself up and started applying again. Jobs weren't easy to land, and after years of 996 hours and low pay, I refused to settle. A month later, I finally found one I liked. It wasn't a big company, but the salary and benefits were solid, and the people seemed decent. The boss wasn't an idiot or a manipulative jerk, and everyone got along. After a few weeks there, I was genuinely content. Then, one evening before clocking out, I saw Jason and Jessica in the neighboring department and overheard some coworkers talking about them. I called an old acquaintance and learned they'd both been fired from their previous company. Turns out, after I left, their affair had gone public. Jessica's cheating scandal was the talk of the whole office. But that wasn't the worst part. Once Jason's fake resume was exposed, all his past mistakes surfaced too. The losses he'd caused were enough to fire him twice over, and Jessica had been covering for him the whole time. When everything blew up, they both got kicked out. Jessica even had to pay damages to the company, and after that, no one else dared hire them. Their reputations were ruined, and they couldn't find work anywhere. That's why they ended up here, in my city, and as my coworkers. The grudge in my chest finally eased. To me, they were nobodies now. I wanted no part of them. Didn't want their mess affecting my life. But even though I stayed away, Jessica came looking for me first. It was lunchtime, and I was eating the bento I'd made myself. When I put my lunch in the microwave, a few female coworkers commented on how good it looked and asked where I'd bought it. When I said I'd made it myself, they all gasped. No way, Luke! It's impressive enough you're so good at your job, but you can cook too? Last time the company had a cleaning day, you worked so fast and neat, you can tell you clean at home all the time. A man who cooks, keeps clean, and works hard. Some girl out there's gonna be one lucky lady. Guys like Luke are rare these days. Hey, Luke, my cousin's single, want me to set you up? The teasing started immediately. Everyone trying to play matchmaker. But I noticed someone staring at me. I turned my head, it was Jessica. I had no idea how long she'd been standing there. Her expression dark and sour. After work, she was waiting by the company gate. We ended up in a cafe nearby. I sat silently, staring at her, wondering why she'd dragged me here. Jessica squirmed under my gaze and finally spoke up. Luke, it's been 6 months. Aren't you over it yet? I've thought a lot since then. I know I acted wrong, made you misunderstand, but there was never anything between me and Jason. Even that kiss, it was just to make you angry enough to divorce me. She started to say more, but I cut her off. Looking at her, the woman who once broke my heart, I said politely, "Miss Jessica, we have nothing to do with each other anymore. Your life doesn't concern me." Jessica's eyes widened in disbelief. Then she exploded. Her cheeks were hollow, her face pale. Clearly she'd had a rough few months, but her tone was still sharp. "What do you mean, Luke? I divorced you on impulse. I never really wanted to leave. After all these years, does our love mean nothing to you?" "Glad to see your memory sharp," I sneered, my voice cold as ice. "Believing you and Jason were innocent would be like believing I'm the Emperor of China. Whatever you two did, I don't care. But stop coming to me, we're divorced." "Oh, and your little boyfriend's here. I wish you both eternal happiness. Just don't ruin anyone else." With that, I stood and walked out. Jason brushed past me on his way in, glaring daggers. Moments later, I heard them start shouting. "What's this? Sneaking off to see him? Planning to cheat again?" Jason roared. Jessica shrieked back, losing all composure. "I told you this morning I wanted to break up! You've got no right to accuse me! Stop pestering me, you lying bastard!" Luke, I was wrong. I really was. Please, come back!" Their voices got so loud it made me frown. I quickened my pace and left that mess behind. Lately, life's been good. One of my coworkers introduced me to her cousin, a graceful, intelligent journalist. We went on a few dates, and she said everyone meets a few jerks in their youth, so she didn't mind that I'd been divorced. We shared similar interests and views. Being with her felt natural and easy. Soon, we became a couple. And the good news didn't stop there. HRs from several big companies started reaching out. One of them was the same firm I'd turned down years ago for Jessica's sake. The unexpected offer left me a little stunned. I decided to resign from my current job at the end of the month and join the new company. Everything was smooth, peaceful, and good until Jessica showed up again. This time she stood crying in front of my car. "Luke, I can't live without you. Please, let's get back together." Her words were a jumbled mess between sobs. She looked awful, bruised, dirty, her clothes streaked with dust. My girlfriend urged me to check on her, so I got out, feeling only pity now. I decided it was time to end this once and for all, to stop her from ever coming back into my life. As soon as I stepped out, Jessica lunged forward, clutching my shirt, sobbing pitifully. "That bastard Jason stole my money and hit me. I regret everything. Why did I ever leave you?" Her tear-filled eyes would have broken my heart once, but not anymore. Seeing my girlfriend smiling gently from inside the car, I quickly pushed Jessica away. "Then go to the police. Why come to me?" "I have someone now. Don't touch me. Let go." Just as I pried her off, Jason appeared, charging at us. His face was twisted with rage, his expression grotesque. "You bitch! I knew you'd never change!" Jessica went white as a sheet, frozen in terror, scrambling to hide behind me. Jason lost control completely, shouting as he swung his fists and rushed at us. "If it weren't for your rich family, no one would have wanted you. Only this idiot ever treated you like treasure. I lost my diploma because of you, and you still want to run? No way. And you, Luke, so what if you're handsome and smart? I still stole your wife." Jason's attacks looked wild, but to someone trained like me, they were full of openings. As his fist came toward my face, I moved, grabbed, twisted, and wrenched his arm out of its socket. Then I pivoted and kicked him hard in the gut, sending him flying. "Ah!" Jason's scream echoed through the underground parking lot, raw and animalistic. Writhing in pain, clutching his arm, he looked like a disgusting worm. The police arrived soon after my girlfriend had already called them the moment he showed up. The surveillance cameras told the whole story, and we were taken to the station for statements. When we finally came out, my girlfriend was waiting in the lobby. Her eyes sparkled as she told me how amazing that kick looked. I flushed, embarrassed, and took her hand to go grab dinner and calm down. Behind us, Jessica finished giving her statement. She just stood there, watching us walk away. Her gaze lingered on our joined hands before she collapsed to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. Because she knew she'd truly lost me. Jason was soon fired again after word spread thanks to my girlfriend's cousin, who still worked at the company. His violent outburst and shady past were exposed, and he landed on the city's HR blacklist. Now, the only job left for him is tightening screws on a factory line. As for Jessica, She quit her job after that day and vanished without a trace. Wherever she went had nothing to do with me. I threw myself completely into my new career and finally joined the company I'd once dreamed of working for. Just as I'd imagined countless times before, I achieved success through hard work. 3 years later, on a bright and breezy afternoon, I walked into the Hall of Marriage with the woman who had stood by me and believed in me all along. This time, I'd made the right choice.